Hello there and welcome. This is Mikhail or Michael speaking, and as always, I want to say thank you all who decided to support me financially, be it through Patreon, PayPal, or Super Thanks. This help is appreciated, so thank you friends and have a blessed day. Today's video I will start with Antonovsky Bridge. Situation here remains to be difficult and unclear. As of right now, Russians are unable to clear this bridgehead that was established by the Ukrainian forces a few days ago. It would seem that Russians started pulling up more aviation in attempt to force Ukrainians out. With that, Ukrainians started to pull up more of the AA or anti-air equipment as well. So it would seem both Russians and Ukrainians are doubling down on this sector. So this small crisis for the Russians still continues. Then let's move to the Zaporozhian front. Let's start with the settlement of Pyatikhatki. In the last 24 hours, it was oddly quiet here, mostly due to the bad weather, with occasional night attacks conducted by Ukrainian forces. But it would seem that with improvement in weather, Ukrainian attacks have intensified once again. As some Russian sources claim, Ukrainians once again tried to attack from Lapkova in the direction of Zherebyanki. Report also suggests that this attack hit a brick wall and Ukrainians lost multiple armored vehicles and were forced to retreat. Perhaps soon we will be able to find some drone footage of that happening. Then let's move to the Orikhiv front. Throughout last 24 hours, Ukrainians also conducted some limited operations here in the direction of Nesteryanka, from Novodanilovka in the direction of Rabotina, and from Malatakmachka across this open field in the attempt to penetrate Russian defensive lines to the east of Rabotina. There were also some Ukrainian attacks recorded in the direction of Novopokrovka. Now let's move to the Vremivka tactical bridgehead. Ukrainians, it would seem, were unable to capitalize on their gain in Rivnopol, although they did attack from Novodarivka and Livadne in the attempt to push Russians as far back as possible. It would seem all of those attacks were repelled. Limited actions were also reported near Makarivka. Once again, no Ukrainian success was reported here. Ukrainians did not use an extensive force. Then we move slightly, and here we have also some reports of Ukrainian attacks in the direction of Novodonetsk from Zlota Niva. Those attacks were unsuccessful. Then we also have Ukrainians attacking all across this front line in the direction of Urozhaine and in general direction of Kermenchik. As of right now, those assaults are also repelled by the Russians. Now let's zoom out to the whole Zaporozhian front. So generally, Ukrainians are conducting limited military operations all across the front line, near Lapkove, Orikhiv, Gulyai-Pole, all across the Vremivka tactical bridgehead. Their attempts to cut off this bridgehead near Livadne by attacking Priyutne have failed. And there were also some reports of Ukrainian attacks here to the west of Uglidar. What's interesting again is that mostly Ukrainians are using very small contingent of forces. It would seem that the first days of this offensive taught them a lesson. However, there are reports coming in that Ukrainians are heavily reinforcing the Zaporozhian front. Most of the pro-Russian channels are expecting a massive assault somewhere in Zaporozhie, although they are unsure where exactly it would happen. We should also take into the consideration the upcoming peace talks that you might have heard of that will be happening somewhere in July, so Ukrainians have from 1 to 2 weeks to neither sit and wait passively or try to attack and gain some victories to use it against Russians in peace talks. These movements of Ukrainian reinforcements closer to the Zaporozhian front is a signal of upcoming massive strike somewhere in this sector. So if Ukrainians will decide to attack, they will surely do it in the next week or so. If my assumption is right, we are soon to expect a massive battle here in this sector. Then from Zaporozhye, let's move to Bakhmut or Artyomovsk. The city of Bakhmut is not being renamed to Artyomovsk as of right now, so I'll use its official name, Bakhmut. First, let's touch the south flank of Bakhmut. Here, situation for the Russians worsened, as Ukrainians had conducted a successful attack in the direction of Kurdyumovka. First, I have a video for you of Ukrainians placing a flag somewhere in this sector near Kurdyumovka Dam. You will see by the video that the soldier planting the flag is very careful, and as soon as he plants that flag, he immediately retreats back. This indicates that Russians are still within the Kurdyumovka settlement, and the battle for this village had not yet started. This isn't the only place where Russians were forced to step back. Here, slightly to the northwest of Kurdyumovka, Russians were also forced to step back from their positions as Ukrainians successfully attacked here in this sector. And in fact, I have a video of exactly that operation. First, I will show you the video and then I will prove why it's happening here. So here we have Ukrainians firing up the demining explosion. You will see how it works in a second. As they do it, you see by the explosions, they are shelling Russian positions in front of what they are trying to demine. Here you can see Russians taking positions in attempt to repel this upcoming Ukrainian attack. Here goes one more. And then you see 3 armored personnel vehicles advancing on the open field. You can see them firing down upon Russian positions in that tree lines. And here you can see they started to land their troops out of BMPs while still providing cover for them. Here you see they start to advance towards Russian positions in the first line as BMPs are retreating. There you see Ukrainians trying to clear out first Russian trenches in that tree line. While they do it, they are being fired upon by the Russians. Let's talk about where that happened exactly. Let's move the video back where we can see the full picture. First, what we see here is an interesting combination of forest lines. So basically it forms some sort of a triangle. Here you can see it. Let's move to the map and we can see it right here. You can also see by the video there is a portion of this smaller triangle here. Then let's look at the curve of this forest line. And there it is. So basically Ukrainians are advancing here. They've demined this passage right here and this passage right here, and that's where they have advanced. So what you have noticed is that as Ukrainians were advancing in the open without any aerial cover, Russians did not fire upon them with their artillery. In fact, the resource that showed this video, it was a pro-Russian resource. This video was shot by Ukrainian drone. In any way, they were complaining how this attack would have easily been stopped if only there were artillery cover. Ukrainians would seem to be initially penetrate Russian lines here in this sector, endangering Kurdyumovka here and opening a possibility of advancements towards Andriivka. As of right now, it's too early to tell what will happen out of this. Perhaps as I speak, Russians had already conducted a counterattack operations and threw Ukrainians back behind this canal. Only time will tell. But once again, flanks of Bakhmut became very active. Not to say that Ukrainians actually intensified their attacks in the direction of Klishivka. So their plan is clear. They want to outflank Bakhmut and put it into a pocket the way Russians did. Then let's quickly move to the north of Bakhmut, here in the direction of Solidar. Ukrainians also conducted several offensive operations, but those offensive operations were unsuccessful. Also, Ukrainians were attacking in the direction of Berkhivka and Yagodne, this time without any success. So as you can see, attacks here intensified, so perhaps we will see the Battle of Bakhmut 2.0. In any way, this is the end of the video. If it was to your liking, please consider supporting it with a like, comment, and a subscription. These actions help promote this video to a wider audience, thus spreading the message. If you feel extra generous, please consider supporting me on Patreon. Your support there will provide me with financial cushion. Thank you in advance. As always, humanity calls me to condemn all violence against human beings. Have a good day, and always remember, Russia will be free and great.